what was the what we got out of it? What did the Democrats fight for? So let's listen to Bernie Sanders. Hopefully, people would listen up and pick him as president.
To ramp up production of personal protective equipment, ventilators, and other medical supplies, and billions more for federal, state, and local health agencies to purchase this equipment. As you have heard me say before, it is beyond belief that the President of the United States has not fully utilized the Defense Production Act. And what that act says is that the private sector, companies in the private sector, being well paid for their efforts, must convert their production away from consumer goods to the medical needs and other needs that the American people need right now. Now, the truth is, we don't need at this particular moment in history more t-shirt production, more underwear production, more sock production. What we do need is the production of masks for our doctors and our nurses and for others. We need more gowns, for protective gowns for our medical personnel. We need more gloves. And that is what the Defense Production Act is, and the President must fully utilize that act. This legislation will also make certain that Americans can receive a free test for the coronavirus. But unfortunately, and this is again sad, it is pathetic, but it is the world that we live in, the Republicans would not agree to make the treatment free. So right now, in the midst of this crisis, what this bill says, okay, the good news is if you can find a test, and that is enough.
Check.
There aren't enough tests available around the country. You can get it free of charge. Government will pay for it. But if, God forbid, you are diagnosed with the coronavirus, well, you're on your own. Well, what happens if I don't have any money? Well, that takes us back to the whole dysfunctionality of our current healthcare system, and that is what is in this bill. In addition,
hey, we got another viewer. We're listening to Bernie Sanders right now.
Will be provided for affordable housing and homelessness assistance programs. This funding will help low-income and working-class Americans to avoid evictions and help the homeless. Now, I worry very much that in the midst of this crisis, I think we'll maybe do another virtual town meeting on the issue. I worry about what happens to the most vulnerable people in this country.
The homeless.
People who are currently in penitentiaries and jails, people who are homeless, people who are living on the brink. This legislation, this proposal goes some way forward, but I don't think anywhere near enough. Furthermore, in the proposal, there will be $3.5 billion provided for the Child Care Development Block Grant to provide child care assistance to healthcare sector employees, emergency responders, sanitation workers, and other workers deemed essential during the response to the coronavirus. And I think the point here that everybody should appreciate is, yes, doctors and nurses and medical personnel are on the front line. They are working, they are putting their lives on the line to do everything they can to keep the American people healthy and prevent deaths. But they're not the only people who are putting themselves in danger. People who are working in grocery stores right now, who are interacting with many customers, people who are working in drugstores, police officers, firefighters, first responders, sanitation workers. All of these people are putting their lives on the line to protect us, and many of them have kids. And what this provision does is say, okay, if you or your wife cannot be at home, there will be money available for child care for your children. In addition, nearly $16 billion in this bill will be provided to help our nation's veterans, including funding to treat veterans who have tested positive for the coronavirus, enable them to purchase test kits and procure personal protective equipment for medical providers at the VA. And in addition, some $590 million in dedicated funding to treat vulnerable veterans, including homeless veterans and those in VA-run nursing homes. So this is an effort to make sure that we understand that there are a lot of veterans out there who are in trouble, they're vulnerable, and they've got to be protected. In addition, over $30 billion.
Shout out to DJ 4242 in the building. DJ 42.
Provide emergency support to local school systems and higher education systems to continue educational services for their students and to support school districts and institutions during this crisis. I mean, one of the many aspects of this crisis that worries me a whole lot is that all across this country, millions and millions of kids are not in school right now. I know some school districts are doing better than others, trying to provide online classes, trying to get teachers to interact with their kids. But there's no question but that public schools, private schools for that matter, higher education institutions are in a lot of trouble as a result of the crisis. In addition, there will be $25 billion that will be provided to our public transit systems to help protect the public health and safety of Americans while ensuring access to jobs, medical treatment, food, and other essential services. What you're seeing all across the country is obviously as people are staying home, as they're not going to their jobs, fewer and fewer people are using public transportation, and this is causing a major financial crisis for many public transportation systems all across this country who are already strapped to begin with and now are losing substantial sums of revenue. So this is an effort to keep those public transportation systems going so the people who have got to get to work will be able to have the means to do that. In addition, there will be $900 million provided in emergency energy assistance to help lower-income families and senior citizens pay their heat and air conditioning bills. Further, there will be $500 billion in business loans to be distributed at the discretion of the Treasury Department. Let me stop here, because this is, to my mind, the most problematic provision in the bill. And it concerns me, as I think it concerns many Americans, very, very much. You all recall back in 2008 during the Wall Street bailout, there was a blank check written for Wall Street and for financial institutions, not only in this country, but all over the world. Central banks received trillions of dollars in zero interest loans. Now, this bill, in my view, is a lot better than that 2008 Wall Street bailout bill, which I voted against.
Oh, wow. Bernie is saying that this is a better stimulus package than Obama gave everything to Wall Street money stimulus package. Because at least it has workers.
Without the accountability.
That's a Republican soundbite. So you're gonna you just notice that Republicans are gonna use this for the next 5 years. This is a bigger. This is way better than the stimulus, and I agree. And $700 billion for just Wall Street, they didn't even pay it back, and all they did was buy stocks. No buy stocks, buybacks. So that's not allowed in this one, and they're gonna have to pay it back. It's a loan. It's not just free money.
So the concern here is do we trust the Trump administration?
So if Bernie's telling me this is a good, I mean, not the best bill, but they worked it around.
Do you think that these loans and grants during a political season will be used to benefit the president's election prospects? Absolutely, I do. So this is the most problematic aspect of this whole bill. $500 billion going out to corporations as determined by the administration. On the positive side, I would say, is that this financial assistance, which will no doubt go to the tourism industry, go to hotels, airlines industry, other concerns, there has been a provision put into it, which obviously makes sense, is that there will be no financial assistance going to any business owned by Donald Trump, Mike Pence, members of Congress, or any of the interests. It will also
that makes sense.
Use
I like that. Yeah, Bernie. That's hilarious. He's answering a lot of questions that I had. Tell you the truth.
Waiver in that which concerns me very much. Obviously,
Hilarious. None of the money's going for Trump.
The CEO saw a significant increase in his or her compensation. They don't want more buybacks. The language prohibits that, but there is a waiver which I fear could be used. Further, as part of the oversight process, the final bill will establish a panel to provide oversight to this money and an independent inspector general to protect taxpayers against waste, fraud, and abuse. But in my judgment, that is probably not enough to prevent the kind of corporate welfare that will be going out to entities all across this country who really don't need it, who are taking advantage of the crisis. So that is a broad overview of the bill as it stands right now. My understanding is there will be a vote either late tonight or early tomorrow. So once again, this bill is not the bill that I would have written. On the other hand, it is a much stronger pro-middle class, pro-working class bill than was the 2008 Wall Street bailout. There will, in fact, be billions and billions of dollars going out to put desperately needed cash in the hands of workers, in the hands of lower income people, in the hands of families. There will be substantial sums of money going to hospitals who desperately need it. There will be substantial sums of money going to cities and towns and counties who are also in financial desperation. So that is kind of an overview of where we are right now. And let me just reiterate something that I believe absolutely is, and that is that in this moment of crisis, perhaps a worse crisis than this country has ever faced in the last 100 years, while we address all of the needs of our people as best we can, given who the President of the United States is, given who the leadership of the Senate is. But while we do our best to address these crises, it is extremely important that we try to understand how we got to where we are today and the need to bring about fundamental reform of American society. And I think, as many of you know, it is my belief that instead of having a government based on greed and corruption, we need to move forward in terms of justice, in terms of economic justice, social justice, racial justice, environmental justice. We need to guarantee human rights to all of our people and end this unfettered capitalism and this survival of the fittest. And that means we must make healthcare a human right for all. It must mean that we guarantee a job for all of our people at decent wages. It must be that we understand that housing, affordable, high-quality housing, is a human right, that education is a human right, that when you turn on the water faucet in your house, you have the right to make sure that that water is clean and the air that you breathe is clean, and that when you reach old age, that you will retire with security ended. So the goal right now is to do our best, taking on Trump and the Republican leadership in the Senate, to fight for working families. But in addition to that, our goal is to create an America that works for all of us and not just the few and the powerful. Good evening, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernie. That was awesome. That was a good job by Mr. Bernard. So Bernie Sanders said it's not the best of the best, but we found a way to divide our differences and we passed the bill, which is the most important thing here. He also one of his sound bites was basically declaring that this was way better than the 2008 bailout. If you recall, the 2008 bailout was when President Obama bailed out Wall Street without no considerations towards the workers. Obama never cared about the workers. Obama never even raised the question. So sometimes the history will always tell the truth. History, right now we're running with emotions. We could be anti-Trump, things like that. But history will always dictate if those decisions were good decisions. When Obama was giving the bailout, everybody was like, let Obama do everything. I was one of the ones like, let him be president, let him do everything. We didn't question him. When Trump was president, we questioned every single step, every move. We didn't have to pass the bill and say, hey, get rid of buybacks, stock buybacks. We made sure we're not going to sign nothing. The pressure of the people, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, Bernie Sanders, many of those leaders from the Senate that, well, not Senate because AOC is the Congress, but I know the Congress has also another package, and Republicans want to be able to do like some margin of error fix, like a redrafting. I don't want to admit to the redrafting, but that's great news that the government is actually moving on to something. It's not limited, according to Steve Mnuchin. He said that there could be more additions to it later on if, in the case of the virus continuing for more than a month, they could be able to work with that. So let's get back to the news, actually. Let's get back to the news. It was actually pretty good to listen to Bernie, no matter what. I might like listening to Dr. Fauci, but one thing that I'm starting to notice is it becomes a good cop and bad cop situation of of the president and him. At the end of the day, if I'm when it comes to the case of the good cop, bad cop, there could be a good cop giving you cigarettes and a Coca-Cola, and there could be another bad cop basically punching you. At the end of the day, you're in the precinct. At the end of the day, you were a cop. So. Not gonna say that Dr. Fauci is at fault because Dr. Fauci has been working for different administrations, kind of like James Comey. James Comey was hired by Bush. He worked for Obama, and then he got fired by Trump. Trump always said he was an Obama guy. No, he wasn't. He's a Republican guy. So we don't know. We don't know how this is gonna turn out. He's allowing the president to have his space. At the end of the day, he's the president. You need the presidents to be in position, but how do you call it? The end of the press conference was a little weird because the president randomly left and stood there with the officials. I mean, not the officials. Mike Pence stood there with Brinks and Fauci. That was not something that we've seen before. We've seen occasions that Fauci's not there. We've seen occasions that the president is blocking Fauci. Something is going on in between that they're telling the president, like, you're not popular right now. Like, we need to get you away. Like, there has to be some type of what's the name of that thing? Like a publicist. Like basically telling them, like, look, we got to do this and this. So. Right now, currently trending number 3 is Trump madness, because Trump is again fighting against other people, deflecting the real questions about people that are dying, deflecting the reality. He's just basically focusing on other countries. We got $400 billion from this country. We got $300 billion from this. Come on, dude. The reason why we pay other countries is to maintain their stabilization. We support other countries mostly for the cost of, look. We tell South Korea, hey, South Korea, don't have a military. We have you. We got your back. And we have 90,000 people stationed in South Korea. The reason why we do it is because we don't want the Koreans to have their own military. The reason why we do it is because we don't want Japan. Japan doesn't have a military since World War II. So we need to keep those guys stationed there just in case. But it's a give and take. It's a give and take. You get to you get to take advantage of the technology. We are there and we are paying their workers cheaper than American workers. We're actually not providing them any type of health insurance. We are also those workers are working unlimited hours, basically 12 hours, 13 hours a week. You know, the makers of Foxconn, the makers of the iPhones, and the makers of the Samsung. Those are South Korean. How do you call it? South Korean things. So yeah, a lot of them those inventions are American inventions, but we are doing most of the manufacturers in those countries. So when you say, "Oh, those countries are living off us," not really. They're allies for a reason. It's a give and take program, but it's hard to explain to this moron. Let's see this. Priorities USS put in this statement saying Trump refused to take threat of coronavirus seriously. Now he won't take responsibility as his administration has been totally unprepared for this crisis. For sure.
The coronavirus.
This is the new hoax. We have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China.
One day it's like a miracle, it will disappear.
When you have 15 people, and within a couple of days it's going to be down to close to zero, we really think we've done a great job in keeping it down to a minimum.
That's crazy.
I really get it.
That's crazy.
I understand.
The number.
I don't take responsibility at all.
I don't think. That's crazy. Somebody said, Spirit Underdog said, "What the fuck? We get 1,200 one-time payout, and then we pay for them to get millions of dollars for sure." Let's read some of the parts of the. So it says here, one of the parts of the article, not of the article of the bill. No officer or employee of the eligible business whose total compensation exceeds $3 million in calendar year 2009 may receive during any 12 consecutive months of such period total compensation assessed. 50% of the assessed number assess over 3 million of the total compensation received by the officer or employee from the eligible business in calendar 2019. I don't get this. You see, this is what Congress and the Senate does. They write a bill in which we, the public, can be able to read it, in which they're the ones behind doors, you know, saying, "Hey, I have a bill that I wanted to pass in October. Can I put it in the stimulus bill? Hey, I also have another one that I've been wanting to pass. Can I put it in the bill?" For example, I heard what was in which state it was. I was watching this city council members that in the time of passing laws correlated with coronavirus, they gave themselves a raise because nobody's notifying. The public technically can't go there and sit in front of a court and see what's going on, see the procedures. So one of them is like, dude, I don't want to give myself a $600 raise when Americans are currently struggling to pay their own bills. That's selfish. Guess what? The boss of the city council was like, "We're gonna have to vote regardless." They had to vote. 5 people say yeah, 3 people said no. Right away, they basically taking advantage of this situation. Same is gonna go with corporations. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Boeing has been in bankruptcy level since they've been selling messed up planes. If any other country was be selling us messed up planes, guess what? We will be shaming that company. That company will be filing for bankruptcy because they got to figure it out. Why are we giving these people money? You know, like the best thing that happened to Boeing is this thing right now, and I hope they I don't know. I hope them as a company are gone. I hope they don't get. They're gonna get money, but I don't really like them. So David Sherrod is basically translating what I just read. So not only can Munich waive executive compensation rules, but if I'm reading this right, the rules actually appears to allow big payouts. For example, if an executive made 10 million in 2019, he suggests he'll still allowed to be paid 6.5, 3 million plus half of 7 million while being bailed out. Yeah. So they could still have their. This max is applied correctly. Still save lives. Oh, that's the new mask. Oh, I got it. It took me a while to notice this picture. This is right. This is Trump madness. The U.S. is already so far behind in proper response. Take accountability to do your part and support healing the nation. That's what I'm saying. Not just the rich and richest. A nurse in the New York City hospital where they are wearing trash bags as protection has just died of coronavirus. Trump's refusal to use the DPA at the request of the chambers of commerce is responsible for the shortage. This is murder. My disgust at the people responsible is bottomless. So, wow. Wow. Remember when Trump was saying that we are using too many masks? 50 million masks. Why don't you hand sanitize it? Wow. Wow. Oh my God. This guy's young. He's a doctor. This is not like a 60-year-old doctor. This is a young 40-year-old doctor, dude. Assistant nursing manager of Mount Sinai, Kios Kelly, died from coronavirus on Tuesday night. So sad. The shortage of safety gear at one of Manhattan hospitals is so dire that desperate nurses have resorted to wearing trash bags, and some blame the situation for the coronavirus death of a beloved colleague. A stunning photo shared on social media shows three nurses at Mount Sinai in a hallway while clad in large black plastic bags fashioned into makeshift protective garb. No more gowns in the whole hospital. No more masks and reusing the disposable ones. Nurses figuring it out during COVID-19 crisis. Staffers at the hospital near Columbus Circle on Wednesday also tied the lack of basic supplies to death of assistant nursing manager Kios Kelly, who tested positive for coronavirus about 2 weeks ago. Kelly was admitted to Mount Sinai's flagship hospital in Manhattan Upper East Side on March 17 and died Tuesday night, the workers said. Another nurse said that Kios didn't deserve this. The hospital should have been held responsible. The hospital killed him. A third nurse described Kelly as a brother to me. We was willing to help each other, especially in this coronavirus outbreak. At least four staffers who work with Kelly have also tested positive for the coronavirus. And there are nine coronavirus. I'm sorry, be right. Let me just. I need to. And there are. Oh, that's what it is. Check, check. Okay, we're live. At least four staffers who work with Kelly have also tested positive for the coronavirus. And there are nine coronavirus patients being treated in the telemetry monitoring unit where he worked. Mount Sinai West has about 40 coronavirus patients scattered throughout the building. Mayor de Blasio has repeatedly warned the city official hospital face critical shortage of everything from face masks to high-tech ventilators amid coronavirus pandemic. On Tuesday, the Post exclusively. I can't listen to myself too much. Shit is annoying. On Tuesday, the Post exclusively revealed that a temporary morgue was built outside the city-run Bellevue, with sources saying that more are planned elsewhere. That's terrible. You hear the situation? Yo, Stormy, leave the cat alone. So this is the morgue that I was watching earlier. So they have a morgue outside of the hospitals in New York City, a makeshift morgue. Because one thing about coronavirus is that we don't know if the body can infect anybody else. So you can't have the typical funeral. You can't. If somebody dies, like I don't want to say anything. I don't want to sound. I don't want to sound disrespectful to the people that lost their life, but that's just very sad. Workers in a military outfit build a makeshift morgue outside of Bellevue Hospital in Manhattan on Tuesday to deal with the outbreak of the coronavirus. Two refrigerated, don't cry. The two refrigerated trailers were struck to the side of 30th Street and the FDR Drive, along with a customized RV labeled Mobile Command Center Medical Examiner. A team of men wearing camouflage fatigues and face masks set up a series of white tents that form a tunnel to a large white tent. This is my New York City. This is the city that I love. This is so sad. It's so different when you're reading other cities. When you start reading New York City and you start reminding yourself like you know where that at. You know that street. You know West Street. I know Bellevue myself personally. So now Bellevue, this is crazy. Other men wearing jackets that identified them as members of the FDNY, of the NYPD, and the city office of the chief medical examiners were also at the scene. A source familiar with the operation said additional refrigerated trailers will. This is sick. So this is sad. There's no advancement on the mass. There's no advancement on the. There's no advancement on the medical supplies, but there is advancement on morgues. So this is the sad reality that New York City is getting ready to. The plans is for them to be there throughout the city. On Tuesday, Governor Andrew Cuomo said the New York City's death toll from the coronavirus have reached 210, and he likened the accelerating spread of the disease to a bullet train. Cuomo also said, "Hold on, I think our landlord just emailed us. Attention residents, as directed by Mayor of Miami-Dade County, all public and private recreational areas, including pools, playgrounds, spas, fitness areas, and gyms must be closed immediately. Please follow all necessary measures. Give your workers masks. How about that? Actually, I'm going to email them now. Whoa, this is very sad. Um, on Tuesday, okay, so Cuomo also said that the state had 25,665 confirmed cases of the contagious illness, with 14,904, nearly 60% in New York City. The area outside of Bellevue have been surrounded by a wrought iron fence that was taken down Monday night by workers who used a rotary saw to cut it apart. The site previously housed a temporary morgue for victims of the 9/11. Also, at that time, it was run by disaster mortuary operational. They were burning people on 9/11? Why would they burn people on 9/11? So this is the Jesus Christ. We got sad news coming our way, guys. Okay, so there's this thing's shared by a viewer. In 2005, the George W. Bush administration called for a coordination of domestic production, a coordination of domestic production and stockpiling of protective gear in preparing for pandemic influenza. In 2006, Congress approved funds to add a protective gear to a national strategic stockpile. Among other things, the stockpile collected 52 million surgical face masks and 104 million N95 respirator masks. But about 10 million, 100 million masks in the stockpile were deployed in 2009 in the fight against H1N1, and the government never bothered to replace them. This month, Alice Sarr, Secretary of the Health Department, testified that there are only 40 million masks in the stockpile. You hear this, Lana? That in 2005, George Bush was getting ready for this, and he had a lot of masks reserved. Interesting. So this apparently is not just Trump's fault, Nana. Tokyo residents were asked to stay indoors this weekend after 41 new cases of coronavirus were announced, a big jump from the previous daily. How about if Tokyo in Japan was controlling the numbers this whole time because they wanted the Olympics, and now that the Olympics are officially canceled, they starting to pay attention to the real numbers. Because Tokyo was trying to downplay this. Grace Sparrow said, our undocumented housekeeper, caregiver, child care provider, etc., are in such tough position, as highlighted here. If you're lucky enough to work with these communities, yeah, because they could get if you're taking care of an old lady, you could get the whole house sick. Um, Perna says, please stop calling me about whether you're getting stimulus check based on your status when a bill hasn't even been passed yet. Worry about being up to date on your tax returns instead. Oh yeah, Brandon Bavarians just had a joke about him being a landlord. I forget about it.
You take Broad City, New York,
Yeah.
I think, and you take Eric Andre show here in LA.
Yeah.
So do you have a place out here in LA?
No, I got a great place whenever I'm out here, and in May I rented this place in the valley, and it was a nice house. It had a whole grotto, and it was like a nice backyard, and I'd never rented a house like that before, so I had to throw a party. And the woman that I rented from, she said I couldn't throw parties, but I said, no, I gotta throw a party. And I threw one while she was out of town. She like stayed in the guest house, but she was out of town.
So you said, okay, she's out of town, I'll throw a party. She'll never know.
She won't know, but she had cameras in the backyard.
Cameras?
And so she's finding out about the party. So I didn't know that she had cameras, so she's calling me. She says, how many people were there?
Oh, wait, it's live streaming?
Yeah!
Oh, you know the party's happening.
Calling me while the party's happening, and I'm lying. She said, how many people were there? It's about 12. And it's really about 50 people there.
Yeah.
And then somebody had their dog, and the dog was jumping in the pool. She said, get those people out. She was just real angry about it.
Right.
And the party, it was alright, it was a nice party. But then the next day I had somebody over clean it up. And then she was on the computer, she was on a camera in New York critiquing the cleaners. She said, hey, have your guys clean and put the garbage can over here. And I said, I don't want to be critiqued from New York about the And so I checked out and said, she sucked, man. I ordered the fight that night.
You ordered a pay-per-view
I
fight?
ordered the pay-per-view, the Mayweather fight, and that came on her cable bill, and I was gonna pay it. And I checked out. She kept on bothering me about this money. So I ordered $7 for the cable bill and 60 for something else, but I just paid her in change.
You took a picture of this, I think. This is the change.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to pay, so I'm a nice petty person.
Yeah. Now, that is the last you've heard. She sounds like a kind of a pretty strict.
No,
Is that the last you heard from her?
she texted me about some furniture. She texted me, here's the text she sent me afterwards.
Okay, you forgot to turn the couch back around to its normal position. That will cost $25 to get someone in here to do that. My back problems, they cannot move that couch.
I said,
It's better feng shui. What else? Let's take this. You've got a long way to go to be considered a good comedian. No one's even heard of you? Like you're George and Hannibal who? Good God!
yeah,
I don't like her either.
she's a real monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got the word out on her. I'm gonna rent the place. Just fill it with dogs.
It's 8 o'clock.
Dogs and chickens and goats.
Yeah,
Okay, comedy commissado tour.
yeah, that's the name.
Tell me, help me.
Yeah, 230 deaths in the past day in the United States. That's crazy. And our president's talking about Easter. The last 24 hours, Uber's face said this pandemic is slowly killing the world's love for celebrities. This pandemic, even though it has taken innocent lives of many, has exposed the narcissism of celebrities more than before. That's the only beautiful thing that has come out of this shit show. They did it to themselves. It makes me appreciate the ones that have been quiet during the pandemic, like thanks for not being insufferable. Except Britney Spears. Absolutely, free Britney Spears. The fact celebrities do not fall into risk groups are getting tested and posting their results online while average citizens that are at high risk are denied. It's upsetting to say. To be honest, the last people the world needs to hear from right now are celebrities. Tweeting from their mansions telling everybody they're COVID-19 free. Every celebrity but Ryan Reynolds, Cardi. The status of celebrities offers the promise of being showered with all good things that capitalism has to offer. The grotesque display of celebrities' lives and deaths is the contemporary form of the cult of personalities. Those famous for being famous hold out the spectacular promise of the complete erosion of a autonomously lived life in return for an apotheosis as an image. The ideological function of celebrity and lottery system is clear. Like a modern wheel of fortune, the message is all luck. Some are rich, some are poor. That's the way the world goes. Florida has 1,970 people who tested positive for coronavirus as of 6 p.m. today. That's 510 more than last night for a 30% increase and probably single largest day increase since the state began testing. There are thousands of sick Floridians who can be get tested in those numbers. Plus, who knows how many carriers showing no symptom yet and wandering around because the governor doesn't want to shut things down. Ave Maria Purissima is going to be bad. Plus, there's a cluster of Atlanta that will percolate down towards Jacksonville and vice versa, and the Orleans cluster moving east towards the Panhandle, Mississippi, offering no buffer. So yeah, it looks grim. And that does not factor in people in Florida like myself who has been self-isolating at home with mild condition and have not. I work at Uber and Lyft. As a driver, I haven't worked in 2 weeks. I don't have money to pay my bills because of COVID-19. Anything would be such a great help. Jackson Heights, Queens, Uber driver who stopped working to avoid coronavirus died from disease. let's stop this live stream. I'm gonna focus mostly